plenty of light. I can get out on the tractor.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:37 p.m. Let's see. First item on the agenda, any public comments? I have a public comment just because I forgot to put it on the actual agenda, but just a general update on Horace Hill. Things are moving along. Just fixing, it was one or two spots where we had a little crossover between trails and disc golf, but just once we get that finalized, things are going very smoothly up there. And we have Arrowwood scheduled to be there in July, who we've contracted to delineate wetlands and help us with that lower section permit. But again, well on schedule with all of that stuff, and cruising right along. So very happy. The other thing that I forgot to put on the agenda, but that I will just make a note on, is that I did put out an RFP to replace the decking on the paved section of the Valley Trail. It's been pretty rough here for a number of years. So I put out an RFP. We had 4 bids come back in. Decking on a bridge is expensive, apparently. But I am reviewing those and putting those in front of the select board Tuesday night. So I will, you'll hear about that from me. Okay. Any questions on either of those pieces?
Well, falling through a bridge is probably a lot costlier than repairing a bridge.
Or even just falling down on the bridge, I think was the main issue we're having, is people were kind of falling into some of those rotten spots, and we don't need children or elderly or anybody else getting hurt on our bridge. So let's get it taken care of. Julia.
So the bids that you've gotten, are they clustered or are they widely different?
We have 3 that are very close, and one that I think knew he was bidding to a municipality.
Got it.
Ambitious.
Yeah. He's
Well
looking
put.
to have, he's looking to fill the dead time, I think, with a nice big fat project. And I don't know that that's what this is. So, but that's that. So like I said, you'll hear more from me on that. If you have thoughts or opinions on it, it'll be on the agenda for Tuesday's select board meeting. Okay. Item 2, any additions or changes to tonight's agenda? Perfect. Item 3, we need to approve the minutes for the June 13th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Julia makes a motion. Patricia seconds. Okay. Sarah, was that a motion or yeah, okay. Okay. Everybody good? All in favor?
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Let's see. Garber is here. Sorry, I need to write down everybody that comes in because Shannon's not here tonight to keep track of that for me. So she sent me a special sheet to get all the things written down that I need to remember. Okay, so we're going to hop into the conversation on Crosstown Trails. So this was on the agenda because I was going to have Tommy give us an update on what SOVTA is doing out at the Crosstown Trails. I know that they've had a machine in there and they're doing a lot of work, fixing some trails and rerouting a couple of things. I'll stop there because past that, not too many other updates on what is going on out in the woods. Tommy and I did have a conversation about, and this was prior to our deluge, about how the main trail or road in Crosstown was in pretty rough shape. While we were having that conversation, unbeknownst to me, Dave Smith, our town employee, was actually out there with the small dump truck, dumping fill, fixing the road, and trying to get it back up to snuff. And then the storm happened. And I called Travis today and I said, hey, the Crosstown Road is in rough shape. And he goes, yeah, I know it is. And I didn't realize I didn't realize that the storm had made it rougher than when I had first heard about it. So I will share my screen very quickly just to give you an idea. Can everybody see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking at on Crosstown right now. So we're gonna.
That's a gnarly bike track.
Yeah, no, that's there's some
More speed.
More speed. We need a little ramp and then we'll be fine, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Wow.
it's looking pretty rough.
So Is Crosstown Dover's responsibility or Mount Snow or shared?
So this is our responsibility.
The legal trail, right?
Yeah, it is a legal trail. And I was, when Tommy and I had the conversation, I said, Tommy, I didn't know of us ever doing anything out there. And,
Yeah.
after talking with Andy, after talking with Travis, we definitely do. We are responsible for that main section of the road there. So Travis said, just for an update, when I do talk to Tommy again, and he'll probably watch this to catch up, but when it's on the list to be repaired at this point, but right now it's been moved to the bottom of the list just because there are roads with cars that need to be repaired first. And then they'll move into the side stuff like this, our legal trails. And, I would imagine he got Hathaway and any other stuff out there that might have had some water run through it. There's water running in places where there isn't usually water running. So I'm sure there's more surprises to be found, but I will definitely give the update to Tommy and SoBTA that we'll be in that and working on that here pretty quickly. And other than that, I will save any other updates on Crosstown Trails for Tom and SoBTA probably for next month when they can join us. Okay. Anybody? Mike Purcell.
Yeah, does this discussion sort of morph into item 5, the Valley Trail improvements? Is that sort of part of that?
Yeah. So hold on just a second. We'll get.
Yeah,
there.
no, I'm just asking
Yeah.
because I'll keep it to Crosstown,
Yeah. Is everybody good with Crosstown for what I covered? Okay. So.
But I do want to say.
It's
I do wanna
Garber. I
say,
have a
though-
question.
Hold on, Mike, hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, both.
It's Garber.
Sorry,
I
Mike
have a
Garber.
question on Crosstown.
Yeah, no, I know. Hold on, Mike. Everybody. Okay. Garber first.
Which- There you go.
Garber first.
Okay.
Too many
Okay,
mics.
when you say Crosstown is a town trail, do you in any way have to ask Mount Snow for permission to do work on Crosstown?
I believe that's a legal right of way of the town. I mean, I'm sure I would probably reach out to Brian and just let him know.
Okay, the only reason I ask is because there's a beaver pond right there. That
beaver.
I have the beaver pond right there probably also exploded onto the trail, and that also needs to be maintained. So when you're back there doing whatever work you're doing, you should ask Mount Snow if they want to address the beaver issue. It is an issue. That pond is within inches of the trail and is only going to get worse.
Our section of the trail or the section maintained by SoBTA?
No, just right past off of Crosstown.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, no.
I mean, off of the Handle Road side.
Off-
Yeah, okay.
No,
sorry.
no, not the Handle roadside. The
No.
part
No,
coming
the
by the
golf-
golf
the-
course. By the
Cor-
golf
correct.
course when you come off of
Oh,
Country
Right where the
Club.
power lines are.
Country
where the
Club.
power
oh, right.
line.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mean,
I will-
it just has to be talked about.
Yeah, I will mention that to Travis and see what his thoughts are. Okay, because he's going to be sending guys back in there to do that work. Like I said, they're focused on those driving roads right now, and then they'll head out and do this stuff as well. There's a lot of material to be moved. I mean, we were pretty lucky, but we still got a mess to clean up. So, okay,
I'm done.
all right. Thanks, Garber.
Do we know how,
Mike-
I'm sorry.
sorry, Sarah. Hold on. Mike Purcell, and then you.
No, in this valley, up north and south, there are 3 roads that really have like their lack of development has had a significant effect on how the communities have evolved. Imagine how the traffic pattern would be different if Crosstown was a road for automobiles. How it would be different in Dover. That's why they maintained that status as legal trail and never threw it up. But I'm just, imagine if you could not have to go north and you could just go over to Handle Road and turn right at a stop sign. I mean, it's significant. I mean, I'm not suggesting that it happened, but it's a huge legal trail or public access for that the town has possession of and the rights to decide what goes on there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't, just to be clear there, I want to just reiterate, I have heard of no plans for something.
No,
like
no, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying.
Well,
that-
no, but people tend to mishear things and run with them. So there are no current plans to
No.
pave or make a highway out of
No.
Crosstown.
Matt-
Okay.
And the select board and the town fathers and mothers have decided that way, but I'm just saying,
Gotcha.
imagine how different it could be if people did that. It would be significant, just like Old Ark or even the road off of Man Road, if it went right to Chimney Hill instead of being closed through the golf course there.
Right.
I mean,
Gotcha.
the traffic patterns around town, we've decided to make them be what they are. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Sarah, you had a question.
I was just wondering if in your conversations with Travis, if he had any indication of how many roads in Dover, or what's the extent of the driving roads damage that needs to be addressed.
We didn't get that far into it. I think I just wanted to touch base with him on this before our meeting, and it sounded like he was pretty busy. So we
He
talked
had his
about,
hands full.
yeah, we talked about the Crosstown piece. And then so I don't have an answer for that. I'm sure he probably will, if he comes on Tuesday.
Stuff in East Dover or even.
Oh, he'll be there on Tuesday.
Yeah. So, okay, perfect. Anything else on Crosstown while we're here? Awesome. Okay, so Mike, at the end of last meeting, you had brought up a discussion about improvements to the Dover end of the Valley Trail.
Yes.
I think you were kind of thinking that maybe this is a conversation to be had, in partnership with SOBTA, which obviously we can't do this evening, but if you want to just get your thoughts and ideas out in a succinct and
Sure. No, easy. It's fairly easy.
Okay.
The idea is when this group was originally created, even though it might have been part of another name, there seemed to be a number of projects that could sort of move forward and promote or address a bunch of these items that were mentioned in the study that was done. And one of those included, improving the Valley Trail to the town border of Wilmington. So it seemed like the number of there were one of the candidates that would have been suitable for that expansion, if it wasn't the town road people, would have been SOBT or perhaps another group, just so we could put it out for an RFP to go the distance from Crosstown over to the town border. Because as we move forward with Horace Hill and getting people to go up to the country club and maintain that elevation, to go to the Hermitage Inn or any of those homeowners to come into town seemed like a way to go. And just since the SOBT guys were there, I was going to say, are you guys interested in doing something like that? Or does this group want to suggest that we put it out to bid if that has value? But it was one of those resources that just needs to be finished so that clearly right now, the woman in the jog stroller can't get across Crosstown right now with that culvert, no matter how fast she runs. But that's what I was talking about, the Valley Trail improvements,
Gotcha.
merely extending it.
Okay. Julia, you have a question. You have a question?
Mute.
She's unmuting.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, that took a while. Sorry, Mike, where specifically, when you say improving Crosstown to the town border?
When you take Crosstown up towards Handle Road, before you go up the hill to that other beaver pond, by Handle Road, the Valley Trail goes left and follows a main corridor that really should be improved, just, with a SurePack kind of surface, just like the other part that goes to Kingswood. Then
Underneath the tension, the wires.
You're talking
that's
about
where
way
the
further-
border is. Yeah, that's where the border is, over by Haystack or just Colebrook Road, just before the Haystack.
Right, okay.
It would get people
So
to
if I'm up by the golf course and I walk by that first beaver pond on the right, and I take a left there where doesn't the snowmobile trail go?
No, that's
Oh,
the
no.
power lines. You got to go all the way across, like you're going to go over to the other parking lot. And as you go down through Crosstown, you start up and there's a kiosk there. And
Oh, right, okay.
That's where the Valley Trail heads south and travels
Okay.
on was really a Hermitage ski trail. that's
Mhm.
pretty
Got it.
wide, and it goes all the way out to the power lines on Colebrook Road.
Right. Got it. Understood. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Julie. Sarah?
If I'm understanding where you're talking about, Mike, which I may be way off base, those trails are in really bad shape and they're not very wide.
No, the Valley Trail one is very wide. They used to-
Where?
when you turn off of Crosstown, they're very wide, but they need material. They need material and drainage and all the sort of stuff that would make them just like the section that goes through Kingswood.
So
Or
if
to
we're coming,
Kingswood.
if I'm coming from Crosstown heading towards Coldbrook,
Correct.
am I taking a turn on a left at that kiosk?
All
Or
all the
just
way
before
before you get to the Watts Beaver Pond. Yep.
I'm sorry, Patricia, I know you're trying to be helpful, but my eyes are just not that good.
Hmm.
Because if we're talking about the same thing, and maybe we're not, the last time I was on that trail, I couldn't walk side by side with another person.
Oh no, it's wide. The main the main route that forms the Valley Trail is wide, and yet there's single track that ribbons back and forth across it. Like when
Okay.
you turn left at the kiosk and you start walking a little bit and you go across a little bridge, and then a lot of the single track sort of trails go to the left, and the major Valley Trail that's marked goes to the right. And it's 12 to 15 feet wide.
Okay, then I haven't ever been there because
But
know
it's
nothing.
rooty, and you're not using a jog stroller, you're not riding a regular bicycle, you're not doing any of that sort of stuff that mortals, like if you were a rugged
Normal
biker,
people.
normal people, yeah, this is like not cool. And the idea is, the Valley Trail is kind of a misnomer until regular people can just travel around like they do if they were going to Kingswood, or the other part. And so,
Mike, the section there, you're saying it needs almost like a SurePack surface.
that's what it should be.
Okay.
Or some ridiculously, firm gravel substance, but it should be for mortals
Okay.
that want to walk, side by side with, holding hands.
Yep.
or do whatever they
Yep.
want.
No, I get
Walk
that.
with their
I get
kids,
that.
yeah. And that was just something that's there.
Mm.
And we're actually trying to get people up there so they could.
No, I get all that.
Yeah.
So what's the distance you're talking about here from that, let's say the kiosk to the town line? How far are we talking?
I bet you it's probably a mile and a half. I
Okay.
would guess. I mean, it's shorter. Well, no, it's like going from, if I went all the way to the parking lot and then went down past the Hermitage, it's probably, a mile and a half. I mean, the SOVT guys and Tim, and they all knew all this stuff. It's just until they, we got into, conflicts. I mean, that's why I said they could be a candidate for doing stuff that's, and so could somebody else. I mean, it's not sexy or anything, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be the Valley Trail that people can walk and go on.
Right.
And then if they want to take a rugged exit, they get off at exit 3 and they go that way, or to Sherwood Forest, or whatever crazy place they want to go to.
Okay. Now, Sarah, I will get to you. I see you had questions. What are we talking? I'm unfamiliar with this particular section, so I apologize. What are we talking about in terms of water out there?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if you know this or not, but everything is a wetland.
No, it doesn't cross it. There's no significant bridges or anything like that. It's like regular standard, drainage issues. Like I can see somebody putting down, fabrics and, maybe some, small things, but there's no, everything is I think there's only one like 6-foot bridge that,
Right.
That you go
Okay.
across before you get to, but there's no sensitive swamps. This has all been there for, I don't know,
Yeah, I
40 years.
honestly,
40 years.
I think This
It's
is
not
the
like a
type
bridge
of,
that goes across the swamp. No, there's nothing like that.
gotcha. So this is the type of thing that we would probably have Rebecca come down and take a look at, just because,
Oh, sure. But-
like we don't things, there were plenty of parts on Horace Hill where I said, oh, it's just drainage issues. And she, obviously reminded us that, like, no, this is all hydric soils, like, just because there isn't actually, no, I understand. We can roll our eyes all we want.
No, I
Right.
got you. I
There's a
got you.
reason-
No, I know.
There's a reason the rules exist. So
Right, gravel
it's
pits are
something-
wetlands.
yeah, everything's a wetland. So yeah, we
But
could
there's nothing
definitely have,
glaring. That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting at. There's nothing.
I get it. So we would probably have her come down anyway, or at least get somebody to take a look at it for us. Sarah, you had a question?
Right. Well, it sounds like at least I need to do like a site visit.
Sure.
Yeah, I would.
I
yeah.
need to walk it. I need to walk it just so, because I'm drawing a blank. And I'm having a hard time, thinking about what next steps would be without having an understanding of where we're talking about. So maybe we need to figure out a day when a few people could meet and walk out there and get a sense of it, and then decide if that's what the next phase of development for the trails for, recreation and trails in Dover, if that's the place we want to invest our energy next, or if we want to put it on a list for, that could be item C and there's an A and a B before it, or if that really is item A and we should be working on it.
Right. And did we confirm at all, like, that this is not something that currently falls under the purview of SOVTA? Like
I
things that they
couldn't
were
tell you. It's
working
the
on?
Valley Trail. It's the
Okay.
Valley Trail, and the mechanics of that and how they're written down in permission. I can't tell you.
Sure.
I just know that.
Yeah, no, it's
the-
okay.
The Valley
It's
Trail.
something we would definitely talk to them about, because we don't want to be
Yeah.
stepping on toes and putting RFPs out and things like that.
No,
So-
it seemed pretty simple, like a no-brainer that they could, just have they could just sort of bank on doing this job that, is something that everybody, various studies have said needs to be completed in order to have a thing.
Okay. Patricia, you had your hand up.
Who maintains those trails?
I think for the most, now I think Vimba would suggest that it falls in their neighborhood. They sort of said that my group, because when I asked them about doing different projects out there, because Vimba comes to every club and says, what sort of things do you have to do that's on, public access? And when I mentioned a couple of things out there, they said, well, that's really the SOBT guys. I go, okay.
Because the blackberries get pretty harsh in those. Like
I know. I mean, normally we, club members go out and do stuff. That's what we do, but we don't really go there much because it's not that great.
Yeah.
When we do, we bring our clippers and we don't tell anybody, that
Gotcha.
we're like, helping out. But I think it's sort of their neighborhood now. Historically, when they were creating that group, I said, well, why don't we just make one group? And they said, they wanted to do their own thing at the time because they were, setting up. Yeah, it's
that's-
historical. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm
That's
saying,
neither
so
here
now
nor
it's there.
there. That's,
Yeah, it's the way it is. It's, I'm not.
there's water under plenty of bridges. We don't need that one.
Exactly. So
Julia.
I think it's the state organization would say they're responsible.
Actually, sorry. So Julia, hold on one second. Mike Garber, you had your hand up.
Yeah, so, Mike, first, can you just tell us what your position is on the Valley Trail? Just so I know.
What?
Do you have a position on the Valley Trail? Are you on their board?
No, not at all. No, I talk to whether it be this group or I talk to folks in Wilmington about the Valley Trail. I mean, it's just an organization that's been around for 1,000 years and it's finally got some traction, but now it hasn't been completed. I'm
Okay,
not an
you don't-
official or it's just, I'm strictly a business person that says, and even on this board, I'm a business person that says everyone will make out better if there's this stuff in town.
Yes, without a doubt. So I just want to raise a small concern. you know, because you mentioned SurePack on those trails and that they should be really hiker friendly, you know, so people can walk everywhere. Now, the stump jumpers were just very recently approached by the Valley Trail
Ah,
people in Wilmington as far as our trails not being up to snuff for a lawnmower, a sit-down lawnmower to go through all the trails. So are you advocating for all these trails to be lawnmower maintained, which, you know, doesn't really work for the trails that we as the vast trails share with the Valley Trail work? So,
no, I'm
you know,
just saying it just needs to be a surface that most people can navigate and negotiate. And, you know, does it have to be, you know, have a double line down the center? No, I'm not suggesting that at all. It's just like, I just think of it like the way it comes from Kingswood to get to Crosstown, or the way Crosstown is. I just, that's the way it should be if it's a valley trail, just like, you know, the Stowe bike path, what have you. I'm just saying, it should be something that everybody can enjoy and not just the hardy, brave, daring individuals.
well, with that being said, who should fund that? Is the town of Dover going to be responsible for the Valley Trail? Like, who supports
Well, they
the
should
Valley
be.
Trail?
I think they should be. I mean, that's the whole point. There's, you know, you built the Valley Trail, you want people to use it, you tell people you got it, it's in your brochures, and then you get up to this thing, it's like Rudy and Rocky, and like, well, what is this? You know, I can't take my
But you're-
kid on here, you know.
I'm sorry to have this conversation back and forth, but you're going through a lot of private landowners. So are you expecting?
No,
the
I mean,
towns-
you're all, as far as Wilmington goes, you're just on Mount Snow land. Excuse me, as far as Dover goes, I'm sorry. As far as, you know, you're in Dover, you're just on Mount Snow land.
Well, that's private land.
Right, but
That-
but that's where the Valley Trail is, you know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
But
Like I said,
you're talking about a 1.5 mile stretch of land that will go through swampy areas.
It's
That's
not, but it's not.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
versus like when you go down, when you get to the power line and the stuff, some of the stuff that you guys use that you maintain is totally different than what the Valley Trail is.
Let's not get too cross.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's okay.
Garber, you good?
I'm good.
Thank you. Sarah. Oh, nope, Julia and then Sarah. Sorry.
So Mike Purcell, I'm a little confused now too, though, because the trail that you're talking about is the one that stays to the right, and it either turns into someone's private property, and I think there's a sign there, but then don't
No,
you,
that's why it turned.
right? But
No.
then my question is, then if you continue going straight, don't you have to go over that dilapidated bridge over the swamp to reach the power
No,
lines?
no. What happens is you basically, when you turn left at the kiosk before you get to Handle Road and the Watt Swamp, you head south, and you head south and you meander all along the high land, and then you come to a 4-way. Okay, and along your route, you could have turned left and gone over the hill, but you come to a 4-way.
And it has a
To the
kiosk.
left is yes. To the left, it goes down steep. To straight ahead, it sort of makes a bend. So that's more reasonable for up and down. And you turn right. Now, historically, if I turned right, I would have come right out on Handle Road. Okay, but they built that house there on the trail right across from the Hermitage. So as I go across that little bridge, I turn left, and it takes me over to the power line. So I don't go through their house the way it used to be, because it would be in their yard and they have a fence and the septic and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But it turns left there. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Gotcha. Thank you. Sarah.
I was just going to ask Mike Garber, when you were talking about the idea of a lawnmower maintainable trail, is it the fact that it would have to be lawn? Like, would SurePack be a better option, or are we talking about something that really either way kind of is overkill or makes things problematic for stump jumpers?
I don't want to bring the stump jumper problems into this meeting, but what has happened is that the Valley Trail portion of Wilmington that shares vast trails is now asking us to make them lawnmower ready trails, which our trails are not. He is not asking that of Dover. So I don't want to bring that. And I don't know what Mike means as far as the lawnmower trail.
I guess
But
I'm
that's
not
what they're-
asking, I guess I'm asking a broader question. Like, is SurePack versus lawnmower the same thing in terms of stump jumper maintenance, or is it the lawnmower is particularly like it's way too manicured for what the kind of work you guys do?
I don't think he needs.
Let Garber answer, Mike.
Yeah, we don't need SurePack. You know, SurePack will make snow melt quicker, but as I said, in Dover, we're not sharing, would we want to share some of these trails? We don't know, because we don't know where the trails go, but I don't think we would.
Okay.
We're more worried about drainage, where water is washing out the trails, the lawnmowers can't get through. And now they're asking us to maintain them to the standard that a lawnmower can go through.
Okay.
Which is,
I would,
costly.
it was more a point of information than anything else. So I
Right.
apologize.
Yep.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna start by reaching out and having a conversation with Tommy and SOVTA and just see where they kind of sit with all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then from there, if they say like, no, that's not something we're interested in, then we can have a broader conversation about putting a plan together to put in front of the select board on it and do a bid or however we want to address it. But let's start the conversation with SOVTA and see what their thoughts are and where they fall with it, and we'll go from there. Does that work?
Yeah, if I can. It's just that a lot of the stuff they do is with machines, and this is ideal for a machine built trail.
Right. Yeah, but like I said,
Assuming the
we'll
wetland
have a
people are
conversation
happy.
with them, right? We start the conversation with them. That's what I was saying. But we are at a point now where Tuesday I should have an item going in front of our board about following along with the town purchasing policy for economic development, just because we've never had a purchasing policy. And I'm thinking that because the town already has one in place, that we should be using that as well for our purchases. So, if something like this is going to cost $100,000, then it would have to go out to bid. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we'll cross that bridge. But like I said, I'm going to start the conversation with Tommy and SOVTA and see where they kind of stand with these things. And if it's not under their purview, then we'll make a call from there. And if it is, we'll make a call from there. Right.
Yep.
So that's that. Patricia.
Now, wouldn't this be a thing where people would donate to the Valley Trail Association, to the people that are technically in charge of the Valley Trail, instead of the whole town footing the bill? Maybe Mount Snow would donate, or just a question about
Yeah.
that, or thought, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that could be thrown out there. I mean, at this point, right, we don't even have a plan or a cost, so it's like we can't really ask for donations for something that we don't know. Like, I think as we get through the process is when we can start putting it out there and say, hey, Mount Snow, we're doing this. Do you want to pitch in or whatever? You know what I mean? So I think that's a good idea, but I think we're a little ways from it. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just a thought.
All right. Are we good on that? Tommy and I will report back at the next meeting on that. Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 8th. If there's anything you'd like to see on the agenda, we usually send out a reminder ahead of time. Keep an eye out for that. Like, let's put things on the agenda if you want to talk about them. Okay. Very good. Other than that, I need a motion and a second. I have a motion from Sarah to adjourn and a second from Julia. Awesome. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next month. Any questions, reach out to me directly. Okay.
Thanks.
All
Eric,
right.
can you hang on for a sec?
Sure. We're gonna stop recording.